Yasas, Kalispera, hello, hi. This is Vicky, and I'm going to talk to you about the life lessons I got from my time in a blue zone in Ikaria, Greece. And I'm going to talk about if experiencing a blue zone, can it really change your life? So, me and my expectations. As you can see on the left there, I am a self proclaimed blue zone nerd. After initially finding out about blue zones from a course I took last fall, I very excitedly applied and was approved on February 22nd. I got that email, super excited. And since then, I had been studying up on lots of Greek culture between Blue Zone videos, Greek videos, how to really get the most out of this experience. I have intended on meeting some fellow like minded health driven students from the College of Health Solutions or related majors. I also intended on meeting and making friends with as many islanders as possible with lots of experiential learning from the locals. And I really wanted to experience the Icarian lifestyle. And overall, I knew from that approval day, I knew this was a once in a lifetime opportunity. And as you can see on the right, I was definitely ready. So looking up Blue Zone Ikaria, Greece, this is what you'll see on the left there. It is a very nice little short and concise website that explains, the bullet points of the Blue Zone of Ikaria, Greece. But the reality is, as you can see there on the right, we were welcomed and greeted so sweetly, kindly, respectfully, to such like a family level. From our guide there, shaking hands with Dr. H, is Rania, and behind her is Simone. And from the moment meeting them and just talking with them, with just getting into the airport, I knew that this was only going to get better by the day. So our arrival, the first place that we arrived in was the village of Therma. And as you can see, it is very, very scenic. The drives everywhere on this island is scenic. Arriving in Therma, our place that we stayed in was called Plumeria Studios. And walking in and seeing the welcome sign on the floor and just the fresh greenery everywhere that you turn. So it's an multi-sensory kind of experience everywhere that we went. On the left there, you see me holding a stone in my hand. Our guide, Simone, was talking to us and had us do um, this experience where we looked at stones that she had put on the ground and we were to choose one that we resonated with the most and to hold on to it and to feel that sense of connectivity with the island and to see how it resonated with us. And that was something that I really appreciated right off from the bat. So as you can see here from the additional photos, the lower center where it says welcome was the walking in path to where we stayed at Plumeria Studios. And that was absolutely incredible. Again, I know I had mentioned before that there were cats around and there was constantly people, constantly cats walking around. So you're looking at to where everywhere is flowers, everything is just, such a coexistence with nature there that I think is really beautiful. And with that comes fresh vegetables, as you can see in the upper left there, where I had set a kind of silly goal for myself to have a Greek salad every day. And I came pretty close, so I'm going to say that I met that goal. And that was just the leftovers. So I incredibly delicious fresh vegetables, fruit, herbs everywhere that you go. And below that, they had a hot springs at the coast there in the village of Therma that a lot of the students from our group went in quite often, and it was very enjoyable to participate. The upper right, we've got the traditional Greek iced coffee. It's kind of like an iced cappuccino. It's called a frappe, and had those a few times, but that was one of the last ones that I had while we were in Therma, made by our hotel guest host, Miss Cooley, made those for us, and those were very delicious, thick but very delicious. But like I said, also lots of fresh herbs, fresh vegetables, fresh fruit, pretty much everywhere that you went. So overall, the lessons that I learned from Therma, there was a sense of connection, community, and simplified lifestyle overall with the island. So we had multiple excursions between walking trails and learning explorations outside, opportunities to clean up the beach where we were at in the upper right there, and spending time outside with the land, connecting with the island overall, helped to really just reaffirm what Simone was saying about connecting with the overall energy of the land, that simplified lifestyle with, not always having to feel like you have to be somewhere at a certain time, getting away from the stress obsessed life that is very common in our American culture. In the village of Arministis, our next place that we stayed at, lots of additional scenery as well. This was on the opposite side of the island, so naturally the scenery was going to be a little bit different. But where we stayed this time had a wider reach of the ocean, and we were right at the coast with a long stretched beach that you could view if you were like me and my roommate Ashley, that overlooked our window, overlooked the entire coast right there, and you could see all the way up to this beautiful little Greek Orthodox church that I enjoyed looking at. That was way off in the distance, and as I said before, with pretty much it's pretty much the same as well here. Everywhere that I looked, it looked like a painting. So I spent as much time um, absorbing and really soaking up my surroundings from a visual standpoint, as well as that gratitude and appreciation standpoint with um, understanding the way that the locals live, and looking for ways and opportunities to absorb this so I could implement it as well at home. So the lessons that I learned in Arministis was definite passion and pride for who they are and what they do. So not just the villagers in Arministis, but overall on the island, there's an incredible passion and pride for their rich history and the resiliency and the way that they were able to overcome the pirates and invasions from invaders that came onto their island, and the way they were able to withstand that and the different techniques and tactics that they had, and that helped them to develop this sense of pride, resiliency, and tenacity that is still very much felt with, it's a Greek thing, yes, but it's even more specific to the islanders on the island of Ikaria. And with that goes this deep, deep pride and passion with doing the people there. No matter the career, no matter what their profession is, they love what they do, and they do what they love. And a lot of the people on the island um, do multiple things. They, will work at a restaurant and then have a side hobby or something. And it's not always something that is going to be an income generator, but it's something that they're passionate about. For example, our guide Rania in the upper left there, who led us on many walking tours and historical explanations of different parts of the island. Like on the right, you see the monastery that we visited as well. She's very experienced with travel and knowledge with travel, but she's also very talented with art. As you can see on the lower right, is some of her artwork that she shared with us at her house. She does a lot of repurposing, recycling, upcycling, and having that sense and understanding of sustainable living, and being able to not just think that things are a one-time use item, and that things can be repurposed and made into something beautiful and usable for the future. And she shared with us many different examples of that. And then on the bottom left is a snapshot of the table of where we were cooking at one of our other hosts, Thea, her farm. She had shared with us lots of incredibly delicious recipes of just simple, clean, fresh vegetables, herbs. And as you can see there, there's also a big pile of apricots that were, again, very common and extremely delicious on the island. And as a side note, I've yet to discover one that even comes close to the creamy butteriness, fresh of taste of to what those were. So I'm going to talk now about how experiencing this blue zone changed my life. And if you've read The Blue Zones of Happiness by Dan Buttner, you would know that his three elements of happiness come from pride, pleasure, and purpose. And the Islanders have that all three in spades, obviously. And it's not just because of the cats, the food, the art, the honey, the landscape. It goes way deeper than that. There's so much more to it than that. Overall, I learned how to slow down. I really learned and reabsorbed, reinforced. One of the first things that we were told when we landed on the island and were beginning to talk to islanders and ask them questions was to talk less and to listen more. And I took that very much to heart because I knew the people that lived on the island had a lot of valuable things to say, and I knew that there were things that I could learn from them. So taking a breath, being silent, look around and just absorb your surroundings. I also learned to appreciate life. So, like I said, doing what you love and loving what you do is very much a common theme here on the island. And with that, also appreciating life as your life is definitely a very common theme on the island as well. And one of these Icarian proverbs that our host Thea had shared with our group was in regards to the understanding with the centenarians that live on this island and their long life. Um, Being well so that you can remember the ones that you've lost is more than just uh, it goes well beyond the American culture of when someone passes away, you grieve and grieve and grieve and grieve. And this understanding that we all have to come to at some point that our lives, we don't live forever. And these islanders have that understanding and that deep respect and appreciation for the zest in life and staying well so that they can remember the ones that they've lost and to keep their memory alive and to honor and respect them for their future and their family's future and sharing that for the rest of their life. Lastly, I learned to connect with nature even more so than what I initially came into the experience with. I really learned even more so how to truly coexist with my environment and within and without the house. So whether you're inside, outside, finding out where the local farmers market is, cooking simply and using just basic elements in food preparation, realizing what's local to you and having that be something that is beneficial obviously for the land, but it's beneficial for you too, and how the body is going to appreciate real recognizable food going in, obviously, but the relationship that you develop if you are supporting local farmers, or maybe you're growing the fruits, vegetables, herbs yourself, and having that sense of pride and pleasure, passion for the growing process itself, having that connection with nature um, is a very valuable component that is not very well present, unfortunately, in our society, but was definitely something that I learned how to integrate more into my life, even here in Central Florida, where I am. So, putting it all together, the Icarian island life, what does it mean? So, like I said, the mindset and attitude overall of the islanders, the realization that they don't have to stick to a time clock, and 12 o'clock might mean 12:30, but it might mean 1 o'clock as well. That's okay. They don't seem to bubble over and stress out about little nuances. They find ways to be happy, be silly, be fun, and living in the moment, having that appreciation for the people around them, that deep sense of pride and hospitality for everyone that they genuinely meet and connect with. We were given so much just kindness, generosity from everyone that we connected from, Dimitri on the left, our tour guide, Thea on the bottom, that showed us all those recipes, meeting Maria and the group and seeing her with the weaving, connecting with my awesome roommate Ashley, connecting with Miss Rania and her husband Theo at the bottom. Absolutely incredible. The community connectedness, that mindset and attitude, um, realizing the resourcefulness to a simplified level, is something that doesn't necessarily mean it's specific to this location. There can be ways that you can think outside the box and approach problems or stressful situations without overreacting, seeing a simple solution instead of overcomplicating it, but all the while also having that sense of pride, that sense of passion and purpose for every moment of every single day of your life. And that attitude of gratitude, like I was talking about, being appreciative for this entire experience. Um, so, overall, this experience in the Blue Zone has been the most impactful travel souvenir I have ever received. And I personally feel that every single person that I meet and will continue to meet for the rest of my life, that I share my experience about this, or even, general conversations, I can continue to have this gift and sharing that with others. And that's ultimately what I wanted out of this experience. And I apologize about crying, but I felt like it was going to come. I tried to keep it back. Having that attitude of gratitude and absorbing the culture as much as I could, I did it. And this was a beautiful experience. And I am absolutely confident that this opportunity is something that is going to drastically positively affect me for the rest of my life, and subsequently every single person that I meet for the rest of my life. And for that, I am incredibly thankful